Hello friends, I am Dr. Jason from Providence Neuro. It has been said that sleep is the best meditation. Sleep is a normal biological function like hunger, for example, but for many of us it has become so elusive that we end up chasing a good night's sleep like it's some sort of miracle. Normally, humans spend one-third of their life sleeping. I think some of us spend that one-third trying to sleep rather than actually sleeping. People who sleep better live better because it is essential for mental health. Today we'll try to simplify the interesting but complex physiology behind sleep function and find out what commonly goes wrong and how to preserve normal sleep function. The scientific understanding of neural sleep regulation began in the early 20th century through the work of a neuroscientist named von Economo. He observed many patients affected by a disease called sleeping sickness, which causes excessive sleepiness. When they died, post-mortem examination revealed damage to the posterior part of the hypothalamus, which is a small but powerful endocrine gland in the bottom of our brains. Meanwhile, injury to the preoptic area, again a part of the hypothalamus, resulted in profound inability to sleep, also called insomnia. This led to the groundbreaking discovery that distinct brain centers are involved in promoting sleep and wakefulness. Sleep is not a passive state. It is not simply turning off your brain. Sleep is an active and intricately regulated brain process essential for physical and mental restoration. It's like a musical orchestra where each instrument has to be played at the right time and at the right note to produce music and harmony. There are two main regulatory forces involved. One is the metabolic sleep drive and two, the circadian rhythm. Talking about the metabolic sleep drive, when you're awake and working, your body accumulates certain chemical substances which act as signals that tell your brain that you need to sleep. The primary metabolic signal that your body generates is adenosine. Metabolic energy is produced from the breakdown of ATP, and adenosine is the breakdown product of ATP. When adenosine accumulates in the brain, it's a signal for the brain to stop working and enter sleep mode. Guess what commonly consumed beverage blocks the effect of adenosine on the brain? Yes, coffee. I have made a table of the multiple neurotransmitters that promote wakefulness or sleep. You may recognize some of these chemicals. Adenosine is the chemical blocked by your favorite coffee. Coffee doesn't remove adenosine, but it blocks its action. The commonly used sleep medication, Alprax, acts on the GABA receptor. The problem with Alprax is it is very habit forming, and nowadays physicians don't prescribe it too frequently. Histamine is blocked by drugs present in cough syrups. That's why cough syrups make you sleepy. There are medications that block or facilitate serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, and they are mainly used by psychiatry specialists. The next main system that regulates sleep is the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is our body's internal biologic clock, which is a natural process that repeats every 24 hours. This process regulates sleep as well as hormone secretion, body temperature, and digestion. These are the environmental cues that tell the body how to tell day from night. These cues are called zeitgebers. Imagine you live in an unsophisticated environment like a jungle. During the day there will be lights because the sun will be shining. There will be ambient sound because the birds will be chirping. During the day you will have work, like physical work involving exercise, because you have to hunt and look for food. But at night you will have to rest because there is no light. There is no night duty in nature, right? And if you consider the ambient temperature, at daytime it will be hot and at night it will be cold. These things which are normally supposed to be present during the day, like light, sound, hot temperature, and physical activity or exercise, act as physiological cues to let your body know that it's daytime. But nowadays we have artificial light at night. We keep staring into screens that emit light. We keep listening to sounds, and we also don't stop working at night. So the body gets confused, and the circadian rhythm is the second place where things commonly go wrong in sleep regulation. Electrophysiologically, the brain cycles through distinct stages like wakefulness, non-rapid eye movement sleep or NREM sleep, which comprises of stages N1, N2, N3, and rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep. Each stage is regulated by unique parts of the brain and specific EEG patterns underlie each stage. Each stage has its own purpose or function. Wakefulness is marked by high frequency beta waves in the EEG, indicating high neuronal firing if you are actively thinking. When you are relaxed and lying on a couch, for example waiting for your EEG to be taken, it slows to an alpha rhythm, which is the normal resting rhythm of the brain during wakefulness. When you gradually nod off to sleep, you pass through different stages N1, N2 and N3, accompanied by a gradual slowing of brain waves culminating in what we call slow wave sleep. Talking about EEG waves, beta is fast, which correlates with active thinking, alpha is slower, followed by theta and delta. Delta occurs during deep sleep, that is N3. N3 is the sleep stage when you are deep asleep and it's difficult to wake up from. N1, N2 and N3 are collectively called as NREM sleep. Some mysterious EEG patterns called sleep spindles and K complexes occur during NREM sleep, which are thought to be important for memory consolidation and brain repair. They offer us a sneak peek into what the brain is up to at night and are not yet fully understood. The N3 stage of sleep, which is the deepest part of sleep, is the most restorative in the sense that most maintenance and repair functions occur during this stage. Approximately 90 minutes after we sleep, we enter a stage called the REM sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. This REM sleep is unique in its own way. Paradoxically, the EEG activity during REM sleep is almost similar to wakefulness, but the muscles are switched off during REM sleep. The muscles become loose and relaxed. It is during REM sleep we usually dream, and the loosening of muscles prevents us from acting out our dreams. REM sleep is important for emotional processing and memory consolidation. Actually, the emotional centers of the brain like the limbic system and visual cortex are active during REM sleep. That is why we see sights and sounds during dreams and even feel emotions like joy, fear or terror during dreams. That's why we have good dreams and bad dreams. But the rational parts of the brain like the prefrontal cortex are deactivated, which is probably why dreams can be illogical and absurd. In normal sleep, we usually switch from NREM sleep to REM sleep approximately every 90 minutes. We usually wake up during the light stages like N1 sleep or during REM sleep. When you wake up from REM sleep, sometimes you are halfway through a dream and so it feels like an unfinished story. When you are taking a short nap like in the afternoon, if you make it very short like 20 minutes, you will usually wake up from N1 stage and you will feel a little refreshed, the so-called power nap. If you wake up after 30 to 60 minutes, sometimes you may wake up from N3 and you will feel groggy, confused and tired. If you wake up after 90 minutes, you would have completed a full sleep cycle and you will wake up feeling refreshed. But keep in mind that taking frequent long naps can interfere with your night's sleep. Coming to the important functions of sleep, the first one is memory and learning. Let us suppose that you are learning a new skill like cycling or preparing for an exam. Have you noticed that you are struggling with a skill or a concept on one day, but the next day something seems to fall into place and it comes easier to you? That's because memories are consolidated during sleep, and this process is crucial for transforming fragile new memories into more permanent long-term storage. The second important function that happens during sleep is brain restoration and waste clearance. During sleep, the brain undergoes a critical period of reorganization and recharging. It actively removes toxic waste products that accumulate throughout the day. This cleansing process is vital for maintaining normal brain function, and sleep deprivation can impair the system's ability to clear these toxins, leading to cognitive and behavioral deficits and probably leading to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. The third important function of sleep is physiological and metabolic regulation. Sleep supports the growth and repair of tissues and strengthens the immune system. Notably, the secretion of growth hormone, which is essential for healing and building of muscle and bone, reaches its peak during sleep. The fourth important function of sleep is emotional health. The brain activity during REM sleep, particularly associated with dreaming, is instrumental in how emotions are processed and regulated. Consistent REM sleep contributes to improved emotional regulation and more adaptive responses to challenging events, while disrupted REM sleep has been linked to bad mood and mental health conditions. We'll have a look at common causes of sleeplessness or insomnia. We have already spoken about the metabolic sleep drive and the circadian rhythm, disturbing which can lead to dysregulation of sleep. The final and overarching cause of sleeplessness in today's fast-paced world is stress. Chronic stress results when the burden on your physiology is more than what you can cope with. Stress leads to anxiety, and anxiety basically means you're looking for danger even when there is no danger, right? So it leads to increased alertness and hyperarousal. Hyperarousal is basically a state of heightened activation of both body and mind. Remember that stimuli that activate your prefrontal cortex can come from outside or inside. Inside, the stimuli can originate from your stored memories, overthinking, and rumination. Sometimes it can be worry or ambition about the futures, fears, and insecurities. Basically, your thoughts keep racing and you remain active and you are not able to turn off your thinking mind. So, stress and hyperarousal are important causes of insomnia. Following stress, the other important causes of insomnia include medical conditions. Medical conditions like chronic pain, respiratory problems that coughing or wheezing at night, acid reflux which worsens when you lie down, thyroid diseases, cardiac and neurological problems can also interfere with sleep. The substances we use to stay awake like coffee and nicotine, they act as stimulants and prevent sleeping. Alcohol, even though it helps you fall asleep, it fundamentally distorts sleep architecture and leads to fragmentation of sleep and frequent awakenings. So to summarize, we classify causes of insomnia into cultural, psychological, and biological factors. If you talk about cultural factors, the 24/7 society we live in glorifies what you call hustle culture and late night productivity, treating sleep as a luxury rather than a necessity. Shift work and demanding schedules are also major culprits. Coming to psychological factors like stress, anxiety, and depression, a racing mind makes it impossible to fall or stay asleep, creating a vicious cycle where a lack of sleep worsens our psychological state. And finally, biological factors like age, painful medical conditions, sleep apnea, cough, wheeze, and substance use like caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol all have a direct impact on our ability to get quality sleep. Coming to the most important part of the video, we'll look at some practical steps to conquer insomnia. The good news is that we have the power to reclaim our sleep. First, establish a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This reinforces your body's circadian rhythm. Create a sleep sanctuary. Your bedroom should be for sleep and intimacy only. Make it dark, quiet, and cool. Avoid caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol, especially in the later part of the day. Second, managing Zeitgebers. The other term for managing Zeitgebers is stimulus control. Get plenty of natural light in the morning to signal to your brain that it's time to be awake. In the evening, try to avoid exposure to artificial lights and sounds. Avoid looking at the TV or phone screens closer to bedtime. And don't take your work to bed. Avoid answering unimportant phone calls and wind down. Remember a Bollywood actor who once said that he was suffering from insomnia in real life, but when he was in jail, he slept like a baby? That's the power of stimulus control. Treat sleep like it's your most important appointment in the whole day. Second, exercise. Regular physical exercise can dramatically improve sleep quality, but try to avoid intense workouts too close to bedtime and in the night. Remember, exercise is also one of the Zeitgebers. Third, watch what and when you eat. Avoid heavy meals close to bedtime. Some foods are rich in melatonin like cherries, walnuts, and bananas, and you can try including them in your dinner. Magnesium supplements are also thought to improve sleep, but remember, it is not a magic remedy. Avoid frequent naps during the daytime because it can disturb your circadian rhythm. Finally, we can practice relaxation techniques like mindfulness meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, and diaphragmatic breathing to help you wind down. We can look at some of these techniques in another video. The last resort for some people is to seek professional help and sleep medications. We need not be shy to seek professional help when all else fails, because at the end of the day, sleeplessness is a biological problem and needs to be sorted out. And to conclude, as important as sleep is, don't think that if you can't sleep well, your life is inferior to others. There are genetic predispositions to sleep also, and some people are naturally better sleepers than others. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like if you found it useful. Share it with your friends who may need it, and don't forget to subscribe. Meet you in the next video.